Soto. I'm the executive director of the Honor Bowl, and I can't say enough how honored we are to have you men here today. The purpose of why we're here is because we want to tell you a little bit about the Honor Bowl. I know you learned a lot about the men that were killed in action yesterday by touring the Memorial Garden. But today we want to break down why you're here, what the history of the Honor Bowl is, and then I'm going to introduce you to a decorated Marine who's a Purple Heart recipient, and he's going to break it down a little further. Guys, I'm a football coach just like these guys. Been around for 18 years doing this game. And in 2010, I had two boys that joined the military. Actually, they joined before that, but in 2010 was the worst deployment they had. My one son went to an area of the Helmand province called Sangin, Afghanistan. They went with the 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines. Let me tell you a little bit about the 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines. They're a highly decorated battalion. They go all the way back to Guadalcanal, Bella Wood, Vietnam, Korea, you name it. They're highly decorated and one of the best battalions in the United States Marine Corps. So they were sent into the Helmand province. My son was one of them. I remember we were at Camp Pendleton and we sat together and he said, "Dad, we're going to the Helmand province, Sangin, Afghanistan. Do yourself a favor and don't Google it." So what do you think I did as a dad? I Googled it. I immediately found out that the British Armed Forces were there and they suffered the most wounded, the heavily killed in action was in the Helmand province, this area called Sangin, Afghanistan. This is the area where the Taliban grew their opium, their marijuana, their drug trade to fuel their terrorism across the world. My son was going there. So we threw him a party, threw Marines. The Marine battle cry of the 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines is "Get some." And I told him, "Son, go get some." They went. My son remembers when they were landing in their FOB. They were landing with their Osprey and their helicopters, and they remember feeling pings and hearing pings coming off their helicopters and looking out the windows, and they were surrounded by white flags. What the Taliban do is they put these white sheets on the ground, and with black spray paint, they spray paint, "Death to the Americans, death to the infidels." The pinging they were hearing were bullets coming off their helicopters. They landed in that FOB. And it wasn't a week later that on a deployment, a couple of the Marines went out and they heard this boom around a mile away. They immediately got in their Humvees, they got in their vehicles and went out to see what that was. And it was an MRAP that ran over an improvised explosive device. It was so big that it lifted up the MRAP, twisted it like a corkscrew, and instantly 4 Marines lost their lives. That one hit home because it wasn't shortly after we heard that one of those Marines was from my hometown of Granite Bay, California, where I was a high school football coach. And then I learned that one of those Marines played football for me. I was honored to eulogize that Marine. The parents asked me, Patty Schumacher, our CEO, you met her yesterday. It was her son. And so news got back to saying in Afghanistan that there was this coach that eulogized this Marine from his hometown. And my son calls me and goes, Dad, he's on the satellite phone. And he goes, Dad, someone told me, my colonel told me, that there was a coach that eulogized Victor Dew. Was that you, Dad? I said, yes, it was, son. He goes, Dad, I was there. I cut him out of the vehicle. As a football coach, as a dad, I had to do something. I had to do something to give back. I had to do something to say thank you to these men that were coming home, killed in action with flag draped coffins, with legs blown off. And that's when we started the Honor Bowl. It was 2010. The Honor Bowl today has become the biggest and best high school football showcase in America. You guys are here today to play not only a football game, but of the innocence of your talents, the innocence of your athleticism. When you take that field today, you're playing for wounded, injured, and ill vets. This is your innocent way of giving back. Your coaches being here, everybody coming to this game. This is your way of giving back. And let me tell you something else, guys. You guys are the leaders of your school. You guys are the one that everybody at your school looks up to. All 125 of you guys. I don't care who you are, what position you play. Whatever is going on in our world right now, whatever failed leadership that we're seeing, you guys don't represent that. You guys are here to change America. You're our future. Take that home to you guys. Take that home to Utah. Make sure that you guys become the new leaders that our current leaders are failing at. It's you. I love you guys, man, and it's an honor for you guys being here at this event today. I wanted you to know a history of this event. Now, without further ado, let's give it up for Gunny Sergeant Alfredo Torres.
All right, American Fork, it's an honor and privilege to stand up here and talk to you today. As you take the field, I want to talk about dedication and sacrifice. Something Coach has already talked about. Again, my name is Gunny Sergeant Torres. Served with 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines. I was on that deployment in Singing, Afghanistan in 2010. So I want to talk to you about an individual that served and that was on that deployment on December 30th, 2010. He was out on a combat patrol. A couple hours, went out on a reconnaissance patrol, gathered some intelligence and bring it back to the patrol to further do something with it. About 2 hours into it, while on patrol, the Taliban ambush start firing off their machine guns. This individual gets shot twice in the leg. He raises his weapon, runs about 30 meters, starts suppressing back until he finally collapses. Another Marine approaches him, runs to him under fire, takes his pants off, takes his camouflage pants off, and he sees blood gushing out. One of his femoral arteries was hit. He looks down, he sees blood all over him. A few minutes later, they get a litter, a litter and put him on the litter and start getting him out. As the helicopter is on its way, that injured Marine that's on the litter puts his hand up and says, "Tell my mom I love her, and tell my boys I said I'm sorry." At this moment in time, the only thing he cared about is to let his mom know that he was sorry or that he loved her, and to let know his boys he was sorry for letting them down. Fast forward, back in America, when he's in rehab, physical therapy, they tell this individual that he's never going to be able to walk and run the same way again. That he's getting medically discharged and retired because of the injuries. That he might get his leg amputated because of all the nerve damage. Let me tell you the story about the dedication and the sacrifice that came with that. When I was told that my leg was going to get amputated, that my career was over, that I was never going to be able to run again, never be able to play a sport, I stand in front of you today telling you that it took dedication and sacrifice. The same dedication and sacrifice you need to go out there and put out every single game. It's more than just a football game. Every single one of you are playing out there for me, for people like me that serve for you. Because I will go out there and serve for you every single day. I will give my life for every single one of you. We fight for God, country, and for Corps. You are part of the country. So go out there and play this football game like it's your last one. Don't ever play a game and not treat it like it's a championship game. That's how I live my life every single day. Treat it like if it's my last one. So go out there, play with that dedication, that sacrifice every single time. Again, it's an honor and privilege to stand up here and talk to you. Thank you, American Fort. Good luck.
Welcome to being here for the Honor Bowl. Now remember, the battle cry of the Marines is get some. So on the count of 3, I want to hear it as loud as you guys can say it. 1, 2, 3! Get some! 1, 2, 3! Get some! 1, 2, 3! Get some! One more thing. These are decals. We ask you to put these on the back of your helmets. Wear them throughout the year. This is to commemorate your being in this event. All right, Coach? I'll let you tell them where you want them. God bless you all. Have a great time.